New update for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Just came out today, September 26th. That is the day, and we have a couple of juicy things here. Fixed issues are the trap exploit for Hitchhiker has been removed. The trap interactions between Hitchhiker has been removed. Good to see that. So no longer will you get hit by a trap next to the ladder that makes you unable to go through anything or step through any gaps or traversal. That is now removed. So thankfully, now trapping a ladder can still happen in a certain distance from the ladder, but it still works out pretty well for Hitchhiker if they want to use that. If not, most likely not, because it doesn't give you the same benefits of this exploit. Just saying. I feel like no one's going to trap ladders. They're going to trap nearby to them because there's a bit of proximity. You can't catch someone that goes on the ladder straight away. It doesn't happen anymore. But now, victims are saved from this exploit or glitch that happened in the game. Good to see. Another thing is, fix Johnny and Sissy lunge. I knew Johnny had the lunge, and I also knew Sissy had the lunge. I was unsure of this because we versus played recently, and they could not, get off us. They hit us once, and they just kept hitting us. Because a certain perk would allow Sissy to lunge the same way Johnny did. So that has been now both removed. As you see here, there's granted the others. We've adjusted this to be more in line with the rest of the family. So now it should be pretty much identical to everyone else, in theory. Obviously, we're going to test it now and see what it actually does. This also corrects the Johnny build we're seeing used in public matches. Okay, whatever. There's a build in Johnny that's been used more and often because obviously it was busted as shit. Maybe they changed the path for this. We'll find out. From there, there was also brightness cheat. Yes, PC people use this. I didn't use it though. I have full confession. I've never used this. And playing today after the updates live, I can tell you those dark areas that were always so dark to me are now brighter. So that's something I got to keep in mind. So now they've removed that. You can't change your brightness outside of PC plays in any way of editing the game files in anything. You can't do that. Good to see. Gameplay changes, the most juicy part of the game. So we've got a couple of nerfs on the very top, as you see. Or fixes. They'll be classified nerfs for some characters because it changes their build opportunity. But overall, it's something to keep in mind. Then we have the Hitchhiker traps at ladders exits. We've adjusted the area at the top of the ladder where Hitchhiker can place trap. So now there's a bit of a radius. So what ends up happening, you can't place a trap right on the ladder anymore. You actually place it a bit further away from the ladder. So that's usually to give the ladder animation enough distance before you can actually land that trap on them. So that's what's going to end up happening now. That there's a bit of a radius or buffer around the ladders. So you can't put a trap directly on the ladder. Still works the same way for strategic play. Not really. Due to the fact that usually the reason why people are trapping it, without the benefit of the exploit in use in any way, the idea you trap these exits with ladders, with Hitchhiker traps, was meant to give you indication when they went up the ladder, because it's pretty much impossible in some maps. Like Sword House, there's a ladder next to garage, or in garage, they go out there. I don't know if they're even out of there without a trap. You know, that trap gives you so much information. So that's cool. But that's been fixed to a certain degree. Or it has been fixed, as it says here. Change fuse box reset. The family can now turn off the fuse box after their victim turns it on. Oh, thank God. We talked about this. We talked about the idea of interception. And it looks like they've listened. So that's cool to see. There's a cooldown applied to the switch similar to generators and car batteries. So I'm giving you maybe around 20 seconds or 25 seconds between every animation of being activated and deactivated by a family. And you know what? There's a perk in the game that works for this, but this mechanic wasn't in the game. So I don't understand, but there we go. We've got it as a possibility now. Cool. W's in the chat. W's. That is a good change indeed. This patch does change quite a bit. The next part is, and this is a funny one, change family stun immunity. We talked about this on the channel quite a lot. And you know what I said? Before I even read this, I said on the channel, what they should do is two things. And one of my options was, give Leatherface a 10-second immunity. After you stun him once, he's 10-second immune. Yes, it seems like a bit, but it might make the character more dominant. And guess what? They've applied this change to all family members. So now, family now has a 10-second immunity period after initial stun ends. So, after any stun in the game, this now applies to them. Yeah, remember that stream? There you go, Jeff. See? It was a good idea. It looks like it's in place. So that's good to see. There's no stun immunity after a family member is stunned by a victim bursting out of a hiding place. So, that means you can still stun. Wait. There's still no... Yeah, so that means you in a bursting area of hiding places, you can still use it to stun enemies. This mechanic is kind of dog shit, but it is actually promoting locker builds, which I kind of like. I've been showcasing locker builds on the channel for a while, and it's very underestimated, and it has some type of potential to a certain degree, and this means I can CC them with lockers. And you know how hard we go with that. We went pretty crazy. If you attempt to stun a family member who has immunity, you will see the prompt for Leland's ability or backstab. I do not know what that means. I'm going to act like I do for the chat. It means you can't stun them. There you go. If you attempt to stun a family member who has immunity with a door slam, it will have no effect. Okay, cool. So, wait, thinking about this on the top, I'm guessing it's like a symbol that goes over their head. It says it's been stunned by Leland ability. Can't stun them again. Or it's been stunned by the door perk. Can't stun them again. Like, it gives you an indication what they've been stunned by recently, which means you can't stun them. I'm guessing that's how it works with that aspect. And also, door slams don't work against people that already have CC immunity in any way for that initial stun, so you can't chain it anymore. Cool to see. Close encounters all vary in duration due to the individual family members having different stun recovery times. Therefore, the immunity period is different for each. Immunity period. This is cool. I get it. So, what will end up happening, say, something like a Hitchhiker, when you have a close encounter with them and they get stunned from the knockout, that usually happens pretty quickly in time, or relative to time, compared to doing a close encounter against Johnny, where you pull his ears, give him a little bit of tug, and then out of there, then from there, it gets the immunity period. Don't take that out of context. But that's the idea there. Then we have gameplay tuning. The door perk levels reduce by these indicative numbers. At level 3, 8 seconds, so that's half the numbers, I believe. So it's level 3, 8, level 2, 6, level 1, 5. So the door perk kind of sucks, because usually your door slime was around 6 seconds. So I feel like they've nerfed door slimes as well, because they've adjusted this perk. Unless it's an additional 6 seconds. Don't know. Something to test out with what they've changed. Agitator perk levels reduced as well. 1.5 level family bond reduction, 2 at 2 levels, and 2.5 at 3 levels. So every time you stab Grandpa, it drops them down by 2.5 at level 3. This is a fair mechanic. I feel like before it was kind of too easy. If someone was running Agitator, it meant Grandpa was useless. Simple as that. Now, it still means Grandpa's useless, but there's a bit of a counterplay. I think that's kind of justified because sometimes a blood build can be very dominant, and getting that one stab at level 3 will be very impactful. So that is cool to see that it's in the game in some way, and dropping the family bond by 2.5 in a match when they're level 5 to 2.5, it takes a bit of time. Surprisingly, you think it's going to be very quick, but it actually saves you a minute or minute 30 before you have to stab him again. And that time is enough for you to make something happen. So cool to see. And the last couple of changes are stealth performances in minigames. We've adjusted the amount of noise generated in gathering minigames when at full stealth. Means nothing. That's just there. Leland ability stun duration. We have adjusted the stun duration upgrades for Leland's lifesaver ability. Adjusted. Okay, yeah. What they're trying to do here is just reduce stuns. So they've nerfed Leland even further. So you can't run a stun build in him. You would have to run a concussive build on him more than anything, I would think. But we got nerf on stuns. We got family buffs because now they're CC immune. Nerf on perks or balance on perks, and also nerf on Leland, Johnny, Sissy, and Hitchhiker. Those are the technical factors of this update. We'll showcase a lot of builds on the channel, most likely today, so keep in mind out for that as we go through everything that we can do to make sure these characters are now more stronger than ever before, even with the nerf. So we'll do some after nerf builds and hopefully have a lot of fun with it as well. But that's my thoughts about this update. It seems pretty good, seems healthy for the game overall. It does ruin some of the potential we had with Johnny back in the day, but I still think Johnny builds will still work out pretty well because of the high damage behind a character that is there. And we can still test to see if it's actually full in effect. Like, it's actually still not possible to do that tech. It could be possible, but maybe it's harder. We'll find out. But that's my thoughts about it. Tell me your thoughts in the chat and also in the comment section. I would love to know. And show the sport in every way possible. It means the world. It truly does. If you mates are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, follow us on Twitch, join the Discord, code Lordia Game Subs for 10% off, and also btlmerch.com. Show sport. This is one of the best updates for Texas Chainsaw Massacre yet. It actually feels somewhat impactful, where the rest of the updates were very... it was pretty much a contradiction with what they try to do. They implement something and it actually makes it easier. This is much better. This seems like a very healthy update for the game. I would love to see this as the first update for the game, and not what it's at now, when it's nearly up to the 1 month and a half bit. But I'm hoping for content to be the next one. So hopefully this is setting up for that as well. So let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy this.